this might be terrible, but I don't remember seeing any of the girlies react to that. I'm sure there were girlies who reacted to this, but 6 months ago, just Pearly things. I don't know what she's been doing now, besides being like, women shouldn't vote, and people being like, girl, stop sharing your opinions then. But she was on this like panel with anti and pro feminists. I like still don't understand her deal. I've heard since I watched her in the H3 thing, there are rumors that she has historically not been interested in men, but that's alleged. And I don't know why she's trying to do like the whole housewife thing. I don't know. It's like, it's really sad, but she's on this, and it might be really bad. So here we go.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today? So we can pick what we want to pick.
Who doesn't have barriers?
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
We have
stopping
no
you? You can do
barriers.
whatever you want.
I can
you?
or you can?
What's stopping you?
That girl's on a wheelchair, bruh. Her ass went, what's stopping you? And she is on a wheelchair. What the fuck? That's so fucked up. You can't do that. You cannot. She's definitely a grifter. I don't understand. Or she just has really, really insane like insecurities that she just never worked through and just projects onto literally everyone else.
Hi, welcome everybody.
Yeah, Pearl sucks.
I'm
No
Vice's
barriers.
chief.
There is absolutely nothing stopping disabled women from doing anything. Absolutely nothing. No barriers.
In other words, we're here to talk about feminism.
Ugh.
I just want to say, we know we can't represent everybody's views, but we did try our best to bring together a diverse group of women today.
I think that depends on the definition of feminism. I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
As long as the human race exists, feminism will never be dead. There's something that we're always gonna have to strive and work towards. To make sure that there's equality.
I don't know that it can die. As long as there's power and oppression, there will be people fighting for equity.
I like Mindy.
Until that somehow.
I love her hair color.
Feminism is alive and well.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think.
Okay, so she is like the same 4 talking points again. Got it. So she's just a talking point machine. This is literally exactly what she says in the H3 thing.
It's really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
The expense of... Sadly!
For me, as a womanist, as a Black feminist, right, as someone who's really thinking about human rights, dignity, right, equity, right, as long as that's not...
She does always look crazy.
We're still gonna keep fighting.
Look at her face. She's like... She's still trying to process that. She's doing street interviews and gets attacked by 2 women. No, I literally have not watched anything with Pearl besides the H3 thing, which she did talk about interviews she does, or she did, and like a big point of contention with her and Ethan was that she never actually interviews like a scholar. Not that like I think everyone who's a feminist is dumb, but she purposefully finds just like people who like are just like identify as feminists and aren't scholars or academics, or who like would legitimately like give her pressure. And of course she gets attacked because she's probably being an asshole.
For me, I just see it as a lens, which isn't necessarily antagonistic or protagonistic. It's just a useful tool.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good answer.
I find that a lot of feminist ideology and thought today feels more of like a supremacist movement rather than something that is supposed to be advancing the goals of equality.
I really wish this like whole female supremacist thing was real. I don't know why people keep saying this. Where are these female supremacists? Can I hang out with them? How do I become one?
Term what's going on as feminism because it looks so different to I think the earlier.
Of course she's British too.
So in that way I would say it's taken its last breaths of life. It's dying.
Yeah, I definitely think it's getting more and more radicalized for sure. So it's definitely still alive.
I think I'll preface and say that I don't know so much about modern Western feminism, and there might be a lot of terms that I don't know, like political jargon and stuff.
I don't know what that means.
But I believe in the advancement of women, whoever considers themselves a woman. I think there's a deficiency in society.
Period.
So it's deeply rooted that feminism has always existed. I think America's a little obsessed with themselves, and it's like always feminism is rooted in America. And like,
that's fair.
Started it, and it's kind of offensive because
I've actually had someone tell me that before. Have I talked about that? I got in a fight with someone because he told me that he was like, yeah, you have so much easier of a time as a woman streamer, and people like Amaranth are manipulating men into giving them money. And I was like, you do realize that, like, if they're not giving Amaranth their money, they're gonna find someone else. Like, these are horny dudes actively seeking out horny content. Like, she's just knowing her audience. I'm sorry, I can't really think of a reason or a way that she's manipulating them, because they were most definitely actively seeking out that content. Yeah, women have it easier because the top 1,000 streamers are 90% male. Exactly. And I totally never get disgusting comments, and I totally have not gotten threats of SA before. Totally never has that happened. I've never gotten people just constantly commenting on my boobs. No, never. I've never had people be like, I don't want to listen to a woman in my YouTube comments. No, never. That's not happened. Fucking pissed me off. I was like, are you for real right now? I don't know. I think there are probably criticisms of Amaranth, but I don't think her Twitch content is one of those things. That's just like knowing an audience and having a niche and winning it.
For thousands of years, women have been dying for their rights.
I think as a Black woman specifically, when you talk about feminism, yeah, the mainstream first thing you think about is a certain type of feminism that tends to exclude still, even today, even with intersectional feminism, exclude African-American women. And
True.
It's always kind of done that. And also like, upper middle class white women has predominantly been the face of what we quote unquote consider feminism.
True.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman. That's what I mean by equity, and that we're able to, without friction, all get the same needs met.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl, actually. Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't have. I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking about gender specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl,
we have so much easier of a time because when we have sleepovers, we have pillow fights, and when men have sleepovers, they do slap boxing. So it's much easier to be a girl than it is to be a boy.
I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So yeah, I would say it's easier being a girl.
What?
Point over here, though, it seems there's a lot of pretty privilege in what you're saying, and that you're white and you present.
Do you think I'm pretty? Thank you.
I think that you present.
I know Pearl, like, that really excited her. Because I know she doesn't get complimented by women often.
And in a way that beauty standards have accepted. And so
they call me ugly on the internet all the time. They be roasting me daily, I swear to God.
I don't mean to say I think you're gorge. I just mean that there are a certain value that we give to certain bodies.
I don't mean to say you're gorge. Yeah, you're conventionally
what you're calling
because we want special treatment.
Attractive, I guess.
No, it's because there have historically and presently in most jobs been fewer women.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today? So we can pick what we want to pick.
It doesn't have barriers.
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
we
stopping
have no
you? You
barriers.
can do whatever you want.
I can or you can?
What's stopping you? As a woman.
Holy fuck. She was like, fuck, retract. I gotta hit the I'm not ableist button. Fuck. What? As a woman, no, not because you don't have legs. No, not because of that. No. As a woman, I'm only misogynist. I'm not ableist, I swear. Oh, God. That's so bad.
That ignores a lot that I'm a woman with a disability. So there's a lot.
Yeah, like literally do you not think that those two things probably both impact each other, or like are both influences when it comes to success? Like, it's not like you go to apply for a job and your womanness and disabledness just like diffuse and they just like split apart. Like, no. Oh my god, Griffin Wood. I love them.
You don't have to.
They're so hot.
You're speaking for yourself.
You're speaking as an able-bodied
white woman.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be other barriers if you're disabled. I'm sure. Like I'm not.
But it's not like your womanness can separate from that.
Women have it easier, yes. I would agree.
What?
You're just going to ignore the pay gap, regulation over bodies.
The pay gap has been disproven and debunked
pay gap doesn't
endlessly,
exist.
my friend.
It doesn't. It's the industries that women pick.
Let's talk about it.
There's a pay gap, but it's because women don't want to do the hard.
They have controls! Social scientists use these things called controls. That's like the thing I learned. You learn in fucking, anyone takes statistics. I took a statistics class for political science, but literally, like, social scientists are extremely careful and extremely particular with how they, you know, measure stuff like that. Well, I guess that's like even easier because it's like you got monetary, you got a number right there. But they're very careful with what social factors might contribute with all those things, and they will balance for it. So I think they probably compare the same jobs, I'm assuming, but whatever.
I don't think it's that simple. I think that's an oversimplification. I think the fact of the matter is that women structure their lives differently to men. Men don't give birth.
Why? Why do you think they do that? Because there is social pressure, and historically they've had to. Because they've been told to structure their lives differently. Not because, I don't know, it's just like there's like societal pressures and expectations. Like, of course they structure differently.
Men don't have to carry pregnancies. Men don't have to be the primary caregiver most of the time. Women also don't hold jobs
Why
for
not?
as long as men do. They often will stop and start. They'll go back into.
Wait, why? Why do you think that is? Men can stay at home. Why not? Usually, I mean, nowadays, usually no. Like, both parents are working, but just like, these are all just like historically just things we can't, they don't have to do those things. This is things we made up for genders to do. We made these things up. This is not like just because that's just how things happen naturally in the jungle. I don't know.
They'll take part-time jobs. The way that men work and women work are astronomically different, and to try to say that they're comparable is where
because women are expected to take care of kids.
First of all, let's dig into why they think that they should take these jobs, which is societal sexism, and then also, actually, Department of Labor, all statistics, at least speaking in the U.S., have found that when compared for the same jobs, there still is a pay gap, particularly when it pertains to race.
Yep.
60% of women have never asked for a raise. So how can you complain about your pay?
Because they'd probably get fired. Wait, what do you mean? Because women are... Have you seen the way people react towards women being like, I deserve more? And they probably get denied raises. I feel like oftentimes a man asking for more things is seen as like ambitious and positive, and then like a woman asking for more, oh, you're so demanding, you're so bossy, you're so like spoiled and full of yourself, you know? Yeah, they get called, yeah, exactly.
When I'm thinking about feminism, I'm always thinking about who's not part of the conversation. What are the barriers? How do we think about equity? How do we think about self-empowerment and agency and having a voice, right? And having choice, and thinking about our basic human rights, education, access to health.
And their demands are just like, I don't want to be sexually
like
assaulted at work. Yeah, literally.
Bread, having food, and those things are very important, right? And they're at the crux, right, of what a lot of us here know that we need. It's like there are the barriers, right, that we constantly ignore that are very much systemic and microaggressive, right? We see them and experience them every day.
Like what in the U.S.?
So,
like what?
What would you like to know an example of?
I know you said that there's like barriers. I want to know what barriers in the U.S. today as a woman.
Well, as a woman or as a woman of color? Let's be specific.
As a woman. I said as a woman.
Well, no, I can't answer as a woman.
I just
I'm just
feel
not
like your
a woman,
question is
right?
kind of hostile when you're like, There are no barriers to what I want. Congratulations. That means you have a privilege where you're not facing any friction, and that's
also she definitely doesn't, by her like inherently just appealing to men and their wants, like especially powerful wealthy men. I think that's definitely a contributing factor, just like appealing to people's wants and kind of just sucking up. I mean, there are downsides to it because you're just like brown nosing, and their kindness towards you completely relies on you constantly agreeing with them. But I think it is something that should be recognized, that you appealing to power structures does give you privilege. We also have a go-to for the barrier questions with the pay gap. There's other ones that are pretty important. I'm trying to think what barriers. I mean, I think one of the things is definitely just how you're treated in terms of your intelligence. That's one thing I've experienced a lot. I feel like when it comes to like more professional spaces, like academic, I'm taken a lot less seriously, and I'm treated as if I need more help than men. They kind of just expect that I'm dumber or don't know as much or I'm not as capable. A lot of it's like social stigma. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sure it actually gets me passed over. Just in I notice it in everyday life. That is one of like, if you're like one of my friends, that is probably one of the things you hear me complain about the most often. Is just I'm constantly just upset because people perceive me as dumb and intimidating. That's how I'm perceived in like my day-to-day life, and it just like really, I've cried about it a lot because people will I'll literally just like be having a conversation with someone. It's become a game for me at this point that like people just assume I know fucking nothing, so I'll just pretend I don't, to see like how dumb they think I am. It's like a game. I'm like, how dumb does this person think I am? And I will just act so dumb, pretend I know nothing, and just let them explain shit. People are shocked to learn. I've had people gasp when I tell them what my grades are like. I literally have had people gasp. Ever since high school, I'd tell people my GPA, and they'd be like, how do you do that? And I'd be like, I'm a good student, bro. Like, I'm smart. I work hard. But no one ever, like, it feels like my hard work never goes noticed because people just assume I'm dumb. The intimidating thing is funny too, because I don't know if it's because of the way I look. I don't know, but there's something about, I'm quiet in real life. I don't talk to a lot of people. I don't know if it's the way I look, the dark circles, I don't know, something. But a lot of people, usually after becoming closer friends with me, they're like, yeah, I was intimidated by you when I first met you. And I'm like, do you realize how stupid that was now? They're like, yeah. Because I'm extremely friendly. I'm just shy and hard to get to open up, but I literally hold no judgment towards anyone. Classical musicians do blind auditions because of how much sexism there is in that field. Like, literally just being a woman, like, I don't think, well, actually now, because of my looks, you think it's how I look? I don't know. Like, no one has ever given me, like, a why they thought that. Women NBs, are they dudes? Probably an equal amount of both. I don't think it's been a particular gender. I usually have an easier time talking to women and femme-presenting people, just because I tend to be more comfortable with them, and I open up easier. I think men are just, like, intimidated by femme people in general. I don't know. I do love girls. But I guess some girls have been intimidated by me. One girl in high school used to call me scary. They'd think that you'd be harsh and lord over others because you can get away with it. I could get away with it? You think I could get away with it? Because I feel like every fight I've gotten into has been because, like, I'm kind of a pushover. I'm 5'5". I'm not that tall. I'm, like, not that large. I don't think I'd get away with it. Oh, no, most fights that I've had, yeah, by 1 inch. So I don't think height is what makes people afraid of me. I'm a pushover, and I feel like most fights I've got into have been with more like spoiled friends when I don't like suck up to them and give them everything they want. I think I've gotten people upset by literally just like being like, no, stop, please. I don't want you to do that. I've had friendships ended over that. I got cyberbullied for that for like months because I told someone I didn't want to be hit and poked. So I don't think I could get away with it. Yeah, no, I had a friend who would literally like smack me and he'd poke. Oh, they'd think I can? Okay. He loved to poke my neck and make me like gag. And I'd be like, stop, please just don't do that. Like, I used to let it happen, but I didn't. I could be a bully. Nah. I talk hella tea in private, but no, this guy was gay. He wasn't even flirting with me. So he just like liked to bother me. He was just a piece of shit. But I plan on saying nice because I started the sentence 5 million times. I think I need coffee. I feel my brain like I'm getting withdrawals. I'm short wiring. Yeah, I feel like when I get in fights with people, even people with who are closer to the other person in the fight tend to take my side just because of me being nice. I don't lie to people. I'm generally kind. I am more quiet and shy, which is why I tend to not be closer to people. But usually when I get in a conflict, that's why I make it a point to be a good person, because I feel like by being a good person, saying and doing the right thing, I think when the time comes, you will be on the right side of the conclusions, and people are more likely to believe you in a conflict. But I think you should just be a good person, be a good person. That's what I was always told. But I think it does come back around. I do think it does. I think it's good to be a good person because you are, at the end of the day, if you're good to everyone, you're going to be seen as more reliable than someone who's just an asshole. And you're probably going to have more long-term friendships, even if you're not as, like, fun of a person as, like, someone who's, like, rude and messy. I've had so many more long-term friendships than those bitches who have, like, a ton of friends, but they just always fall out. Okay, I've made coffee, I'm mixing it. I love stimulants. Okay. Back to feminism, unfortunately.
I think as an American, you're very privileged. Like,
I'm not ignoring that.
Or like a basic
What?
level of what, I mean, the feminist movement is when it comes to just being born a woman, right? Physically, pound for pound, we are born as women and we have less lean muscle mass than men.
How do you know that? Who wanna square up, bitch? I'll take on a man. No, just kidding. I don't want to take on anyone. I probably lose in a fight to a woman too. Anyways, I hate the muscle mass argument.
And so therefore, there are policies, there are things to help women physically, like, for example, I believe being able to carry a firearm and being able to use that safely to defend yourself against men who are born naturally with more muscle mass than a woman.
Y'all ladies have guns?
What would a world that has equity look like? Like, would it be 50% of everyone in the same jobs? Would it be like prison?
That's equality. I'm pretty sure equity is when, like, everyone has, like, the right benefits and help that they need based on different, identities and factors. It's when, like, the equity is when, like, factors are weighed in. Equality is when everyone's just treated the same. I think if you're really worried about the semantic, I don't think it really matters. But if you're really worried about the difference, I'm pretty sure equality is, like, the unweighted GPA. And equity is like the weighted GPA, you know?
That's equality.
50%. So what does equity look like?
So equity is generally described as a state of fairness because historically a lot of people have been arguing for equality, but what does that give us? Like 0.5 of the 1%.
I love her hair.
This doesn't really do anything for us. And so people—
The white hair is so cool.
Which is, instead of sameness, it's fairness.
Yeah.
We remove systemic barriers to to engage in society, not just for women, but also for everyone.
So
I need those ramps, right?
Can we stick to male versus female? That's my question.
But my feminism includes ability, it includes
my
race.
question, so what barrier? I just want
The question is silly.
So, yeah, but
It's not a fair question. It's
how is it not a fair
She's
question?
kind of proving the point of what people, especially Black women, other people who are anybody who's not white, why we hear feminism and we don't want that label because it means, I'm just gonna say, it means that. Like, it means that when there are people on lower end who are trying to survive, who are trying to get to a point of what should be normal based on what other people have.
It sort of sounds like you're saying feminism is not always inclusive then.
Right. It's most of the time it's not inclusive.
Well, that's why I really like that intersectional feminism has become more and more of a thing that people make effort to do. And that's definitely a thing. Like, intersectionality, I think, is one of the most important things to recognize when talking about any social issue, because you gotta remember that, like, issues for women are bad, but the same issue for a woman of color is probably worse. So I think those are really important things to recognize when it comes to any social movement, because it is important to advocate for one certain thing, because that one thing being solved would help a big group of people. But I think also being able to recognize that issues overlap is really important. And some of those intersections have their own unique problems too, and that's also very important to include in your advocacy. Even if, like, you aren't personally affected by it, it's still something that happens, and it's important to recognize that.
The very basic is male versus female versus, but unfortunately, we've only had one subset of women be the face and voice and the academics and research and everything to be able to say, well, that's the standard we need to be in, when there are other people who are still trying to get to some type of...
Is she being a TERF? I'm confused. Should I go back?
Basic is male versus female versus, but unfortunately...
Like, I agree that, like, feminism... Okay, maybe I disagree, or I agree with her for, like, a different reason, because, yeah, I think feminism tends to leave people out in terms of, like, recognizing the unique issues of women of color, queer women, trans women. I think that's, like, always something we can work on. I think she was more talking about, like, maybe not being included because she's a feminist, but also is gender critical or something. I can't tell I don't think they identified who's the anti and who's pro. This is anti, she's anti, think she's pro, anti, pro, anti. I'm confused on her, and then pro feminist. I think that's what it is. There's a PragerU lady. Well, she's British, so I don't know if it's her. Which one would be PragerU? I don't know. None of them have the PragerU look.
Women taking, like, the agency.
Besides the British one, but she's British.
I think it's mindset holding them back a lot, because if you want
it's all their mindset, guys.
To compete, you have to have the right mindset.
I swear, literally, misogyny and feminism is, like, the only issue that you can say that, like, your oppression is a mindset about and not get fucking punched in the face. I swear. Because if you, like... I mean, I guess people do also say that about different identities, but I feel like if you said racism is, like, it's a mindset that's holding you back, like, everyone would be like, bitch, what? I don't know, it's just so crazy that this is such, like, a normal belief, I feel like. I hear this all the time and people don't bat an eye. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just annoyed because I hear these people all the time talk to me. No, every conservative does think that, but, like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm not cooking with that one, but, like, yeah, they think that every, like, thing, marginalized identity is just, like, you just being lazy or an excuse. But I feel like I even hear people on the left saying the same stuff about feminism, I'm more talking about, like, people who would tend to be more socially progressive on a lot of issues. But then when it comes to feminism, they kind of like don't defend it as hard. It's just a thing I've noticed. I don't know if that's because I'm sensitive because I'm a woman, but I feel like other things get taken more seriously and defended way harder. Not that other things don't deserve to be defended. I just think it's like if you're advocating for anyone, you gotta advocate for everyone. You know, that's just always been my philosophy. Activism and trying to make things better for people. It's just like a weird thing I've noticed, and I think should be better because I think that we need to include everyone if we want life to be better for everyone.
Blame their lack of confidence or what society tells them for the reason that they're not achieving what they need to achieve, when that's not the case. You have
Why are her eyes look that? Is she hunting?
Built the world, had the mindset of building it, so the women who want to engage and build that further, they need to have that same mindset.
I don't think we do. I think that's like assuming that we all want to be capitalist babies.
Right.
I think that men are not interested in the society and women are not trying to re-embody what they have built for us.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the issue, is that their only idea of feminism and a successful woman is kind of just like a woman doing everything a man would do. Which is also fine. Like, if you just want to, like, girl boss shit, then, like, I'm not gonna really come after you. But just, like, the idea that feminism and just pointing out clear misogyny in society is just, like, you just imagine all women want to be huge, like, CEOs, or... It's just, like, that's not what women want. Yeah, it's just, like, such a capitalist state of mind where it's, like... pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like, if you want to be successful, and people are like, no, I just want to be treated fairly and live my life without worrying that me being a woman will make me treated less fairly. I don't know, I'm gonna let her cook, because she was on to something good.
I think that, like, what we're forgetting is a very important detail, which is just, like, human respect and dignity, and not asking people to prove what their experience is and to prove to you.
Exactly, the meme, more female drone pilots. And they would make fun of that. They would make fun of... The conservatives literally make fun of, like, woke... I feel like that's a joke on every side, but, like, yeah, it's just... That's unironically not what feminists want. They don't want that.
Like, such
That's
conservative
liberal
thinking
feminism.
to say, like, I don't understand, explain it to me, versus just saying, I don't understand, and let me respect what you are saying.
I'm respecting
right?
wherever your starting point. I'm respecting that. I'm really respecting that. I'm saying that if you don't have the mindset you can even achieve it, you're never going to even try. So it's never...
achieve what?
She looks like... The girl on the left that's talking looks like she really loves quinoa. I can't explain it. She just looks like she really loves quinoa. That's all I have to say.
Like, what are we talking about? Because I feel like you projected this, like, capitalist ideology on every woman.
Achieve whatever it is you're looking for, equality, equity. But what I'm saying is women in the feminist space and a lot of these other spaces, we don't acknowledge that we have to take the initiative.
I don't understand how we're getting so off topic. This is about feminism today, whereas everybody wants to make this about their individual, here are all the multitude of other things that factor into my person. Great, this is about feminism, it's about womanhood. I understand that all of you have your own individual experiences and the other things that feed into you as a person.
That was like the whole point of this panel, though. The whole point of this panel was to, they literally said at the beginning that, like, they tried to get as many diverse personalities, experiences, and opinions as possible to, like, have a productive conversation about feminism. And, like, if you know anything about feminism, that's intersectional feminism is irrelevant to the topic of feminism. Yeah, can we get back to, like, when feminism was just, like, about women like me, which would be a dog whistle for rich white woman, the racist kind of feminism. Disgusting. That's literally what she's saying. Like, if you want to have a conversation about feminism, I'm sorry, but, like, the subcategories of womanhood are important to talk about because that creates a whole bunch of conversations and issues that need to be talked about. You can't just ignore that because it's not like you're moving on from womanhood. you're talking about womanhood, but then you also kind of need to talk about Black women, which is a category of woman. Disabled women, category of women, still talking about womanhood. It just, you can't ignore that. If you want to talk about women's issues, you gotta talk about all women. Sorry.
But this is where intersectionality falls off the planet and loses, I would argue, probably the vast majority of people, including me. I'm not even a feminist. I don't give a crap about feminists arguing amongst themselves about who's the most victimized. But this is annoying.
No one's doing that.
Honestly, I don't understand anything anybody's even trying to get at.
I don't think anyone here victimized themselves. I think they're just acknowledging that, like, when Pearl just told the disabled woman, are there any barriers holding you back as a woman? Do you think that person could have answered that and, like, thought of a way to completely ignore her disabledness? I don't know how long she's been disabled, if it's been her whole life or something, but that is kind of, her being disabled, especially, like, when she's in a wheelchair and can't walk, you think she could just ignore that for a little bit? No, that's like her whole life. That affects her whole life. Every part of her, even the woman part. You can't really ignore that. No. This isn't Oppression Olympics. This is just people talking about, yeah, they're a woman, but they're also a very visible identity that they can't escape and can't just separate from the other identity.
Say that I don't think equity and this concept of competition can't coexist with each other. Equity is building more facilities for people who need them. It is recognizing that there are holes in the market and there's opportunities for women and feminine expansive people and meeting those opportunities. I think equity can buoy the pre-existing system that
I think that girl's anti-feminist. She's confusing me. I thought she was talking about how Black women weren't included, but now I'm starting to think about how conservative feminists or, like, anti-trans feminists aren't included. So now I recognize that. I was like, true, but now I'm like, oh, we're not on the same page. We're not on the same page.
And in a good way.
And this is where we're going to get to what I think the real feminist arguments are.
Are those bullets? Are those bullet earrings? Okay, those kind of go crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
And abortion is the biggest one.
How many of you...
I was afraid she was gonna talk about abortion.
Let's do a show of hands for pro-choice.
This is a pretty telling thing. Wait, she's not? The girl in the red dress isn't?
Is pro-life, though? Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, and folks who identify as pro-life?
What? Really? What? Wait, she's pro-life? I'm heartbroken. She said good stuff before, I thought. She's a TERF? But she said good shit earlier. What the fuck?
Why do you identify as each?
You've gone from legal, safe, rare to, yeah, I'm so proud, let me beatbox in front of the Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I got murder.
I'm gonna pull one of them, but I need an example. I literally went to Planned Parenthood, like, 2 days ago. I don't know. I mean, I live in the Northeast. I'm in Connecticut. I guess I can't really talk because I think Connecticut's considered the best state for abortion rights, if not really up there. I think Connecticut might be the #1 best abortion rights state because it's in our Constitution, but it's really good. Every time I've gone to Planned Parenthood, I've never gone for abortion, by the way. I've never gotten abortion, just to be clear. I literally just go because they have a lot of very useful testing and just, like, resources, and they're really helpful and really good at conversations. But literally every time I've gone there, it's like a tiny parking lot and no one else is there. Yeah, they have HRT there. They have birth control options. They have, like, safe sex kits, which are free if you have, like, state covered healthcare. But otherwise, they're like $1 to $4, and you get, like, lube and, like, a pack of condoms for, like, really cheap. I got my IUD there. Their STD testing's really good. They make it really easy, really fast. I did I don't know if I gave an update on that, but I got a breast exam and also my bits exam, and I found out I have a abnormal uterus, but it's a type of abnormal that a quarter of women have, or people with uteruses have, so I'm chilling. But yeah, no, it's very useful. Hi, Stumpy. And get free birth control. It should be free. No, I don't have an extra one. It's just shaped 25 as like a copay for like just to like as like a check-in. If you're comfortable with asking, is like the hormones expensive either, or is that covered? If you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to say. You don't have to give a number, but if it's like pretty affordable, that'd be pretty cool. Cause I just want to know that there's options for people. I've heard a few things. Some people are really happy. Those are for, okay, awesome. I've heard like a variety of things about Planned Parenthood hormones, but I think they're better than a lot of like any other person you'd go to with for hormones. I think the only thing that I've been told is that just like with any endocrinologist or anyone you're getting hormones from for HRT, is that you kind of have to be more aggressive to make sure they're adequately getting you to your goals. But that's all I've been told. But I think that would go with any endocrinologist, and my friends have said that they just recommend you talk with other trans people about how to go about it, and that's really helpful to have people who've gone through it before to tell you like how to advocate for yourself and stuff. You haven't had to be aggressive at all for it? That's good. Because I have a friend and she said that she's like had to just like ask questions and ask them to be a little more transparent with stuff. I know that. Yeah, it definitely depends. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like the HRT profesh, so I'm just trying to get people to learn to advocate for themselves. So definitely make sure you have like a friend or someone who has gone, if you are thinking about HRT, to like talk to about how to go about it. Because from what I've heard, having like a friend to like talk things out and be like, is this right? Like what is this? What do I do about this? Is like, I guess that goes with anything, not just HRT, but especially that, just with the state of things. I really recommend that. That seemed to be something really helpful for my friends. But yeah, I know multiple people who go to Planned Parenthood and I've heard good things. They get what they need and it's like adequate care. Anyways, let's continue. That's my tangent. Be safe. Be happy.
The fact that it's celebrated, that murdering.
Also, I hope HRT is going well for you, Kat.
Pregnancies is celebrated. That people are so proud of themselves for mutilating a fetus is just it blows my mind. And I don't think that you need to be pro-life to even take that stand.
You said late-term pregnancy.
Is anyone like doing the Joker dance after getting an abortion?
There are people who, when the laws were passed actually here in New York, they said, yes, great, yes, I love the fact
but
that...
you need to ask about what are people celebrating, right? They're celebrating access.
Her eyes are massive. I thought my eyes were massive.
Listen, that's your body, you do you.
The child is not your body.
A zygote.
A baby. It's so scary for me to hear people calling like guns the biggest equalizer for women, but taking their choices away from them at a policy level. Why is that?
What?
Having a gun is an equalizer.
It is.
Having rights is an equalizer.
Yeah, that's
Having
right.
choice is
Right.
an equalizer.
Just like a gun right.
And in this country...
Yeah, she made her really excited with those those bullet earrings. I can't. Those look so goofy. The fucking... Are those rose gold bullets too? Oh my god.
Taking the autonomy away from women, it is heartbreaking to see women pushing that propaganda. It's all brainwash. Like you,
it's brainwash because you don't agree with me.
What? No, it's brainwashed because you're agreeing with power structures that want to make your life worse, not because you disagree.
Fundamental America is like
This has nothing to
very,
do
very
with
like
even
deep
religion. This is
Yes, it does. Yes. Oh my god. What? Do people actually try to like make the argument that abortion has nothing to do with religion? It has everything to do with religion. Are you kidding? The whole reason abortion's like a thing is because people believe there's a spirit, like in the fetus or the zygote, whatever the little gummy bear thing is. I'm a gummy bear. Oh my god, imagine if you're pregnant and you find out your due date is November 13th. And you're like, holy fuck, my Gummy Bear album's due on November 13th. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
basic scientific human rights.
We're also talking
Look out for the Gummy Bear album.
To abortion clinics where they're doing the things themselves and they die, right? We're also talking about women in the hospital who are pregnant, who have chosen to stay with their pregnancy and have issues at hospitals, and hospitals that are like, oh no, we don't do that. Listen, for whatever reason, you don't need to explain it to anybody.
People can die. Also, people don't realize that, like, in the situations where late-term pregnancies are terminated because of health issues and, like, potential to kill the mom. Yeah, one, it's potentially life-threatening, and two, if it does become life-threatening, do you know how fucking painful it is? Like a septic pregnancy? Like, that is an extremely painful thing to go through. Are you kidding? You're just, like, asking someone to suffer and die. Want an abortion? Well, suffer and die. That's basically what you're doing. It's so crazy. But what they usually try to argue is the science. I think it definitely started as... I don't disagree with you. I do agree that that has become like a way of arguing for it. However, I think abortion most definitely at least began as a religious issue, and at its heart is a religious issue. I believe that. But I think just because at least the country has become more and more based on secular beliefs and science, they've had to reroute how some of them still use religion, but they've definitely tried to put a scientific thing on it, like finding out when the heart beats, when it feels pain, when it da-da-da-da-da, like that stuff. They definitely tried to do a scientific outlook, but still at the end of the day, the real scientific consensus would be that the adult human body is way more... Oh, it was co-opted by religious extremists in the 80s. Okay, interesting. I don't know much about the history of abortion, but I assume that it was very religious at one point, but nowadays it's kind of a mix. But I think it's still more so religious, just because of the climate of politics. Either way, saying that being pro-life is, like, scientifically correct is not true. Because, again, I will say it for the 5 millionth time, mama comes first. Mom comes first. When it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to giving birth even, if it's baby or mom dies, mom gets saved. Because no mom, no baby. I mean, obviously, if you choose to, like, have the baby anyway and the baby up for adoption, like, that's fine. Like, it's your choice. It's your choice. But being like, yeah, women should suffer and die because abortion is wrong is just not how doctors have gone about it. It's just ridiculous. It's really terrifying how much they value someone who has not lived than someone who is living. It's quite terrifying, really. And I hate it. Because once that baby's out of the womb, they don't give a fuck. Child support? No child support. Bad, bad, bad. That's unfair to the men. Proper gun legislation? Nope. You will get permanent trauma and fear that you will be shot in school.
Black, Indigenous, people of color, particularly women and girls who are working class, who do not have even access to, like, proper sexual education. It's the oppressive state of saying, I will force you to have a child even against your own will.
Yup.
Right, especially when you're thinking about women and girls who would be forced to have these children, who are already living in very traumatized and scared situations. You want to ask about barriers? That's a barrier right there.
Yup.
Women in poverty aren't able to access the way that rich women are, and no matter what happens, rich women are gonna keep getting abortions.
Yup.
People in poverty are
literally.
And the overruling is marginally affecting people of color, people in poverty, way more than people who are going to get...
I like her a lot. What was her name?
Correct. You're there's actually more abortions for people in poverty. It's just at a lower rate.
What? Huh? That's Pearl. Eli. Antonia. Omaris. I like Omaris. Oh, you're from New Jersey, girl? Wow. This is like the first W for New Jersey in a really long time, but We can get bagels if you want. Who is this person? Jordan? Who's the Brit?
There will be
Mindy. I love Mindy. I'm a Mindy stan. If Mindy has 10 fans, I am one of them. If Mindy has 1 fan, that is me. If Mindy has 0 fans, I am dead.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said that not all women are able to have babies or pregnancies.
Yes. Do not bring up trans people because there are cis women who can't have babies. There are. Bruh.
Are you saying, meaning like an infertility issue?
A number of reasons. There's
Yes.
all kinds of reasons
Yes.
that all women are having babies.
Yep. Exactly.
I think women want to sleep around and not have any consequence for it. Yeah, instead of, taking personal accountability and being on birth control, they just want to, like, do whatever they want.
Yeah, we do, bitch.
You say this?
Nah, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a slut supporter. I'm a supporter of sluts. If sluts have 10 fans, I am one of them. If sluts have 1 fan, that's me. If sluts have 0 fans, I am dead.
Why is it empowering to sleep around?
No,
Why
what
is
I'm
that
saying
empowering?
is like I feel like you do like take like the way you speak on women is very sort of like women just don't want to do this. Women just
Yeah.
women just want to this.
Maybe I should
Bro, she's eating her up, bruh. Yes. You absolutely.
I am a woman.
She's so I love her. She like does not hold back, and it's like she does it tastefully too. Like, not that she really needs to. Like, I'd still support her even if she was like, fuck you, bitch. But the fact that she's like, what, like, why are you talking like this? Like, it's just like, you kind of just sound like you have a complete disdain towards women. Abortion is a uniquely American debate. I mean, I guess kind of. I'm sure it's issues somewhere else, but the way abortion is like talked about in America, I'd say is like kind of unique to America. I guess I'd agree with that, but I'm sure it's like we're not the only country dealing with this. Maybe in terms of like our peers, I don't know, what do you consider an American peer? Just like countries we're kind of like compared to, I guess. Yeah, we're pretty far behind with quite a lot of social issues.
Women don't want to work. Women don't want to this. Women want to sleep around. Where did you learn these belief systems from?
Because, okay, the question was, why does abortion keep getting brought up? 40% of women that have had abortions have had 2 or more. 40%. Good for them. So what does that say to me? That means you're using it as a form of birth control, and they don't track.
What? No. It's probably because they don't have access to birth control. The only reason you'd use it as a form of birth control is if you don't have access to other types of birth control, right? Or if there's like barriers to you getting it. Wow. I came up with a barrier right there. You keep asking about it. We are the #1 capitalism practitioners. Like, the capitalists have had to give workers less rights here than Europe. Okay, yeah. So abortion is obviously not in their interests. That's fair. That's like almost conspiracy level, but I could see how that's kind of based in some truth. I think the upper class wants to preserve abortion more as a control thing than maybe like a population thing. But, it could be a mix of things. Like, nothing is like completely black and white. There is a fair point about our dynamic.
Under duress, say that they've been raped, or that, in the small circumstances where something really traumatic has happened to them, that's a medical decision. Or say that they're miscarrying and then they have to have an assisted termination. That's a medical procedure. It's not a celebration of, oh, look at the.
Why does she think people are celebrating? Have you seen like an abortion cake? Do people get like cakes? I mean, I don't think really anyone has like fun. It's all medical. I don't know why like the exceptions are like the only valid things, because they're doing the same thing just for different reasons. It's not really different. In your eyes it is, apparently, but I don't know.
I think the delineation between that's a medical abortion and that's like a fun abortion is
exactly.
It's all a medical
Yup.
procedure.
Yup, queen.
Going in there and getting it.
That should never be an empowering factor for.
Bro, she looks like she's hunting all the time. She literally looks like she literally does like the blue eyes meme, but she has brown eyes. I don't know. I can't decode this woman. I don't understand how women work. It's confusing to me. I guess I can't judge. I have big fucking eyes. But I don't like hold them like that. I try to look more relaxed. But I guess I could be like that TikTok girl, the pixel girl. People always tag me in her videos. They're like, you should do this. I'm like, why do you think I should do this? But I guess it's because I try to not look like that most of the time. I relax. But I guess she might be tense, so I might be a little mean. She might be a little nervous.
I definitely agree in that, like, there should be no absolute thing any woman should do. There should not be an absolute response to incest or rape or any of these things. Every woman should have the choice of if they want to or not want to carry that child, whether it is having fun, getting raped, incest, whatever it is.
It is.
I don't glorify and glamorize abortion. I think it's a very traumatic thing. I doubt that if somebody has to do, like, if they have to do it, they'll do it. I don't think that people are like, you know, doing like have 6, get the 7th free and having fun with it.
Not the deal, bruh. Like you get like a hot top. You know at Hot Topic you get like the points card every time you go. You get like that, but like for your abortions. That's crazy. Collecting abortions like Funko Pops, bro. That's crazy. But anyways. Yeah, it is goofy, and also it's harmful just for anything. I feel like there's so many things that this applies to, but there are some things where you just like need justification because it would create a multitude of issues. There are some things that should just be allowed just because if you prevent people from if you make it harder for people to get that help and make it so they have to justify, it could cause a lot of harm and a lot of people to be in really terrible situations.
Did the Dobbs decision make anybody here sort of rethink abortion access, reproductive health care?
It's anti-woman, right? It does not center people to have that voice for themselves and their own decisions, right? It is a barrier.
The viewpoint that life begins at conception, which is a really big defining principle for both the pro-life crowd, who very, very, vehemently believe that, and then obviously a lot of the pro-choice crowd do not believe that. Taking that out of the equation, you do not have just whatever kind of autonomy you want as a person. It's regardless of male or female. You can't just have free run to do whatever the hell you want. That's not how society operates.
What?
At no point do I have the right to tell anyone.
Don't tread on me, bitch.
Should not do with their bodies.
But it's not about your body.
It's not about me respecting.
It's not about your body. It's about the kid's body. I don't care what you do with your body.
It's my body, right? We're talking about my.
He said condoms are gay. Who does he think condoms are mainly used by? I mean, everyone should use condoms, but it's usually used to prevent pregnancy between straight sex. Rather odd bloke, this one. Rather odd bloke. Also to prevent STDs, which is a good thing.
The Dobbs decision for me reinforced how important it is that we approach these issues from a cultural perspective, because it reinforces something that I have told many of my colleagues and peers in the past, which is that so long as you lack a cultural consensus, any issue can become a political football that can be decided by another election cycle.
Wait, so she just thinks like the only way to solve this issue is for everyone to have the same opinion as her? I'm confused, because she said she's pro-life. She kind of broke my heart a bit because I liked her, but yeah, there is a strong consensus though. Most people are pro-choice. Like a good majority of people are pro-choice, actually. It's a hot button issue, and it's often for like single issue voters is a big one, but still the majority of people pro-choice. Like in the Connecticut, if you run as a Republican explicitly being pro-life, you're not gonna win. Maybe in like a specific very red town, yeah. But in general, when you're running for like the big seats like state rep, senator, governor, any other like attorney general, if you are pro-life, you are not going to win. We are a blue state, but it's usually an issue you wouldn't campaign on unless your area was specifically really popular. Yeah, being pro-life is a career death sentence in a lot of areas in America. So usually you just kind of about abortion. That's what politicians do here, especially. Like, I've talked to Republicans for the newspaper, and they've, like, told me, they're like, don't put this in. I'm pro-choice. And if we have candidates who run on more right-wing policy, we're not going to win. They don't win anyways, but that's Connecticut for you.
So I want to come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
So I play for basketball.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I want to come at this from a position of an athlete. Oh, Jesus. That's how I feel. She's so real.
Trans women are women.
God, I love Mindy.
Come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. So true.
I play semi-pro basketball, semi-pro volleyball. So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces.
Isn't pro like 6 foot?
I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a barrier for you?
There's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That is a barrier.
Again, we work very hard for the little opportunity.
Okay.
Space.
I like Eli.
We're not as entertaining as the men.
Maybe I'll follow her.
We're just not. And so it's like you're going to take the little opportunity that
What, really? Really? Because honestly, in the little amount that I watch sports, the thing I enjoyed watching the most was women's basketball. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it might be that, but I just like love how dramatic it is. It's like fast paced, and also I love the way people pretend to fall to get people fouls. It's so fun to watch. Yeah, people are just misogynist. I've heard like multiple women in my life say like women just look dumb playing basketball. They look like they shouldn't play it. CT's son, I don't know what that is. Is that a semi-pro thing? I don't know. I don't know the most about sports. I'll sometimes be at college basketball games because there's lots of those around here. And when I was on dance team, I was at a lot of those. We have a WNBA team? What? Do we have a men's NBA team? What? Oh, just women's, period. As we should. CT's like the only state where women's basketball is a big deal. Yeah, so maybe I'm biased, but it's because UConn, the women's team, has like historically been extremely good.
We can't compete. We can't. Like, I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's gonna body me.
And what happens if I go?
What? Bro, you're taller than a majority of men. I'm pretty sure as a woman who's 6 foot. Also, yeah, it's not a guy, but I think even like you're most definitely taller than a majority of trans women if you're 6 feet. Also, have you seen trans women? I would body them in one-on-one on basketball. Are you kidding? People don't realize literally how much hormones actually do to the body. I think I watched a video on it because I was so mad. I think I would cook her ass on the court. Good. Skill issue. Who cares? Like, literally the point of, like, sports is, like, if you're the best, you win. Everyone's born with biological advantages and disadvantages. It doesn't matter, like, what, like, bits you're born with. It really does not matter. No, I heard Pearl's actually really good. Rayvana talked about her because Ray's from the same area as her, and she said she actually is very good at sports, so I imagine Pearl probably would beat most trans women in basketball. I imagine that. But I watched a video about like why the trans women in sports thing is like kind of BS. And people don't realize that hormones really are a bitch in the best way, but like when you take hormones, you are built like a woman. I think the way one person described it is as like a large engine running a small car or something like that. I don't know. It's just like, it's not, a trans woman is not the same as a cis man. They're not. They're completely different. Once you take hormones, you are built like a woman. It's not accurate to call them a male in any way. The biggest factor in any sport is training and knowledge of the sport. Yeah, there's so many like short people who are really good at basketball. Like, I feel like every basketball team has like a token short person that can kind of just like like around everyone. Olympic weightlifting, but even weightlifting, especially weightlifting, when it comes to strength, yeah, there's muscle loss. It's just everything is redistributed in a way. You are trans women. I cannot say enough how I view trans women as so similar to me as a cis woman. I don't view them as like competitors or like threatening to me. He's like 6'5", bruh. Yeah, I can tell you right now, most trans women aren't like, oh, he's 6'3". That's still tall, but like still, like there are advantages and like you can make things work. Like that's just a skill issue if like you're complaining about someone being taller or stronger. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a dumb thing. I hate the fucking trans people in sports argument because, like, it literally has such a chokehold even on, like, liberals. And I'm like, I cannot stress enough how much this, like, really doesn't matter and how much this really isn't ruining anyone's lives. Oh my god, that bitch in Connecticut, I'm so sick of seeing her. Like, who's mad at, like, the two... There's black trans women too, but like the girl, like she's like, I'm the fastest woman in Connecticut, and she like lost, like skill issue. Exactly, like adding like this anti-trans lens in sports will end up like discluding cis women because they're born with more masculine biology. Exactly. It's just I hate when people hyperfixate on this issue. It's so dumb. It doesn't matter. You're a baby. You're a baby and you're crying. Wah, wah, wah. You're a baby.
And yet when a woman is sitting here telling you, I feel as though this is unfair and this is compromising and this situation is not helping women, you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. But when you're like, I'm a black person that did this, 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 and this, then it's valid and fair and viable.
Eli, I want to give you the chance.
What the fuck?
So this is basically a joke of a talking point. Everyone has biological advantages in sports.
Period.
How tall
Queen.
are you?
5'11" and a half. I'm tall.
I'm 5'8". I am a trans woman.
Period.
Crush me. You would absolutely crush
bone
me.
density, wrist.
Period. I was like, I knew for a fact that like Pearl has definitely never like played against a trans woman or just like met like trans women, and she's going bone density. Look how tiny Eli is. Eli is tiny. She's tiny. Look at her. Eli uses she, her, right? Improves your 3-point percentage. Look how tiny she is compared to you. You would eat her up on the court, bitch.
Yeah. Muscle density, you can't switch those.
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. You would crush me.
But also, Eli, you would never play at the level that Pearl plays because you would never get there.
So,
what the fuck? Wait, then why would you say that? Because you would never get there? Then that totally... So does she have a biological advantage or not? She would never get there, but you're just saying that trans women have a biological advantage. Like, I'm so fucking confused. It's so inconsistent. Just like...
So Michael Phelps produced more lactic acid in his body, which caused him to swim better than any of his competitors.
Yeah. Why are you nodding? This is so true.
Nobody contested it. Now, this is in a performance.
I mean, I agree that she would never get there, but it's just inconsistent with saying that, like, they have an advantage and then being like, you would never have the skill to make it. Because you were just saying that she has an advantage. Not to be a misogynist, but I don't support all women. Some of you bitches are dumb as hell.
There are, I mean, every major medical and every major sports organization agrees that trans women who have been on hormones for between 1 and 3 years in the organization have the same competitive abilities.
I think that's definitely a fair outcome. I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not a scientist and I don't know much about the conversation, but I think literally just being level-headed and being like, okay, so like what's the point of hormones where trans women are basically at the same physical, like basically equals, whatever, like what, you know what I mean? Just like, I think that's such a fair thing. If people are gonna bitch and moan, then be like, okay, what's the point where it's not like an unfair advantage by these people's standards. I think that's a completely fair solution. I don't know, do you guys like that solution? Just like having like a time frame you need to be on hormones. I would argue like even like before hormones, I would say, or like before they have the time limit, I would think like trans women should at least be able to like practice with a team. No, they aren't actually concerned, but I mean, I'm just talking about what Eli said, because Eli had a very, like, rational, like, yeah, most, like, sports teams and leagues already have like a solid answer on this. They just do. But yeah, I think you should allow a trans woman to like train with you. Just like maybe if you don't want her to compete, I guess like if people are gonna bitch and moan about that, then like you can try to be careful with that. But I think they shouldn't be kept from being able to train or play at all. It's dumb. Like no one really cares that much. I don't. I'll play basketball against a guy. I don't really care because at the end of the day, a sport, I mean, I'd be playing for fun. If for professionals, I guess it's different, but really, it really doesn't matter that much.
You're literally a white woman from Australia. You live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced forever finally can be heard.
Because they speak up.
This is more than about sports. This is about free and equal participation for transgender people in social life.
Yep.
And the right sees this.
It's literally about social isolation.
Way to begin to remove trans people.
Yup.
They find is more acceptable, and then at this point we start to move into education, getting trans teachers fired. This is a route
She's spitting.
that is very effective.
Yeah, that's Eli.
It's more acceptable.
Eli's a great name. I've like considered that name for like a child.
Like, I mean, do y'all
I
know
really
how
like
many,
that name.
trans women have won national titles?
One too many.
One. It's Leah Thomas is the only one.
One too many.
If women too many?
I hope Leah Thomas is doing well.
Going to end in some way. I mean, it's just not happening. Wouldn't you think there would be more trans
Oh my
women
God.
in sports when the majority of states do allow trans women participation?
I have a crush on Eli now.
Zero.
I love her hair. She just like showed up girl bossing their shit.
Different topic. I want to talk about
She
Me Too.
talks so like chill and kind and but also stern and like I don't know. I really like Eli. She is I have a crush and a squish on her. I have a friend crush on her. She is so cool. And she's so pretty. I love her eyes. Sorry, this is like a time I have like a thing about complimenting women. I love complimenting women. I think it's because I'm a Leo. I just love when a beautiful woman graces my presence, and I want her to know that.
What is the state of feminism sort of in this post-Me Too era?
We're in post Me Too.
All right.
Tell me.
No one's getting like.
We're better. We got better.
We did it, guys. We solved the problem. I want that world.
Shut up.
Obviously, the state of feminism is very much reflected right in this room. But Me Too for me, right, in a particular context, means something for different people. It's a different experience for different people. In my culture and in my community, we're still working through that. There is no post Me Too, right? We're still working through.
I don't think it's post at all.
How do we teach not just?
Yeah, you're not including the joke.
Everyone.
I don't remember her name
What does
is.
consent look like? What does that look like in our community? What does that not look like? Right? All those things that I think it's still very complicated.
Post Me Too, as we're calling it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I think that a
Don't
lot
say
of
it.
the experiences of women
Don't
on the
say it.
right get a bit trivialized because there is a lot of politicizing of sexual assault. So when something legitimately happens on our side of the table and someone tries to speak up about it, there's almost an automatic disbelief. And I understand why. It's because of the
No. That doesn't happen. The majority of people who supported Steven Crowder's wife after it came out that he was abusive to her were people on the left. Am I crazy? I feel like the majority of the time when someone on the right wing comes out about like a story, leftists are like sympathetic towards them. I don't know if they can like still disagree with them, but usually if like they're literally assaulted, people are like, yeah, that's terrible. That shouldn't have happened to you. Like, no, that's not something. She keeps making up things that happen. Like maybe a few like really evil people, but this is really just like not something that happens.
That came out of the Me Too.
And Daily Wire wanted to make Steven Crowder look bad, so that makes sense to me.
For gain, people do make things up
because they had beef.
But it is sad to watch it happen. It makes me sad that we're here.
Sorry, I'm very into this idea because I do think it
that's
is
valid.
The larger intersections that just doesn't get very discussed.
Yep.
Which is, like I was talking about before, barriers and...
No, I think Mindy should definitely speak her truth on this one because she's disabled. And I feel like, especially with fashion and like modeling, like beauty, all that stuff, disabled women are definitely very looked over.
Listen to me, the less value I will have for society.
Yup.
So, you know, I'm already starting out as a woman with no legs. If I had something on my face, I have my beauty. That's one of my privileges. I have my whiteness. That's one of my privileges. I used to have thinness, and now I'm getting fatter. Things are changing. And I think every single time that we talk about feminism, pretty privilege should be discussed because we have these ideas. If your skin tone is this, if your hair is this, if your body looks like that, it's about whether or not you are given an equal opportunity based on what you look like.
I'm obsessed with Mindy. Queen. Love her. Love her.
A lot of times the women that complain about beauty standards don't complain.
Why does she start everything with, a lot of the time when women complain? That's like her catchphrase.
About them when they got privilege,
it's like a formula.
When they were young and attractive and thin. So it's like, yeah, you're complaining when the privilege is gone, but privilege is invisible to those who have it. And women, it's a privilege. And men don't turn 18 and get looks that we get.
As a black
What? Yeah, all men are fucking uggos at 18. And all women are gorge. Man, she's really not defeating the... That's kind of fruity. Saying, like, men are not as attractively gifted as women. What do you mean by that?
I did not grow up thinking I was beautiful because I was
That's sad.
And I think in the black space, we have these conversations.
That sucks. She doesn't deserve
I'm glad to bring it up because I think feminists actually really should be part of the colorism topic because...
Yeah, I agree.
Shades within being black. It shades because they're, again, the beauty standard is the closer to whiteness you are, the more beautiful you are.
That's definitely something that overlaps with feminism. I completely agree. She makes a good point there. Her opinions are really confusing me because I'm just like confused where exactly she stands. But I agree that, yeah, I think colorism is definitely an important conversation to have, especially when it comes to talking about beauty standards for women. Not that it doesn't matter for men either, but it's definitely like a different perspective and issue and all that stuff.
I mean,
Morris,
kind of
I like her too.
Antonia,
I really like her too.
Latina woman in my community, right? Like, I grew up and I was ugly, right? Like, that's what I was considered. I was not considered beautiful. Of feeling
that
ugly,
sucks.
but also being told I was, right, had a lot to do with what is believed in my community, right? Colorism is one of them. And so to say, I'm going to redefine beauty for myself, and to say, I own myself.
Yeah, men can get away with being yucky.
Right, and I get to decide what I want to wear and how I want to wear it. And I don't need to, right?
She is beautiful, though. I hope she knows that now.
You know what? I am beautiful.
You are beautiful.
I feel myself because if no one else is going to
She's so beautiful.
I gotta say,
like, that green looks so good on her.
I did grow up being referred to as very beautiful for a woman with a disability.
What? That's so fucked. That's so fucked.
And that, to me, always
Yuck.
This idea that disability doesn't mean
for a woman with
some form of exceptionalism, which I
yuck.
Like, I got this.
That's so weird to say to someone.
You can have no legs, but you better not fucking get fat. And so,
oh my god,
that, like, there are
that's so sad.
Beautiful, and certain people aren't, and that inherently holds value. Is, I think, you know,
it's so sad.
Beauty standards are toxic bullshit hierarchical nonsense. And I say that as someone who has spent over a year collectively of my life in eating disorder institutions because I have tried to put my body through hellish things to meet these beauty standards, which more often than not are not based in reality.
Has anyone ever like researched why skinny bodies have been like the promoted thing in society for a while now? Like, especially for like clothes shopping, because I thought about it and I was thinking, I was like, when I worked in retail, I knew that they would purposefully put out like on display, they'd put out shoes that were smaller because I guess like clothing items look better smaller, allegedly. That was like the theory. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. To try to make women feel constantly insecure. Yeah, it could be a marketing thing to make women feel insecure and feel like they constantly need to buy things to make themselves look better. It could be diet culture. I don't know. I just like haven't ever heard like a solid answer. I know like it's a thing and there's probably a reason people did it, but I'll think.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, beauty in the industry is exploitative, but also we have to remember a lot of the beauty standards are based around health, what's perceived as health, like symmetry, certain weights,
what?
Things like that. So
what does symmetry have to do with health?
Balance it, and I think we're seeing so much more representation, which I think is incredible.
Like I think, I mean, health is important, yeah, but like time and time again, how many times do we need to be like how you look is not a sign of health. And also, just because someone's unhealthy doesn't mean you need to treat them like shit. Why are you being a dick to a fat person, being like, oh, I'm just helping them? No, you're being a dick. I can promise you fat people know they're fat. And I'm sure other people are telling them that. You're not helping anyone by like being rude to them. I'm telling you right now. Fat bodies exist, and that's okay. And they shouldn't have to be ashamed of it. If they want to do something about it, they should. And that's okay. But you don't need to be a fucking dick about it. In fact, that's probably going to make things worse. Just be kind to people and they'll probably be more likely to make decisions that make them feel good because they feel supported. Really
if women really cared about beauty standards, like the obesity rate wouldn't be what it is.
But what
Let's
about
try
you?
to attain the beauty standards. I just think like some people.
Wait, what do you mean, what about you?
People are less attractive, and that's just, you know,
Did she call her fat?
We're not rating. It's okay.
That's what I mean. Like, I just think like some people are more attractive.
So if you are overweight, you don't care about beauty standards.
Well,
is that right?
Like the point is that the beauty standard is thin, right?
A lot of people.
Obesity comes from men and women, though.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. But I'm saying if women really wanted to fit the beauty standard,
A lot of people can't control
I just
their
from my
way.
experience as well.
Like, body type shouldn't be trendy, and literally the whole, I mean, first of all, like the whole like really skinny body type is like a lot of that comes from racism against black women. And I'm pretty sure the doctor that invented BMI, or like your fat percentage, body mass index, was kind of like misogynist and racist, because like how much your body fat percentage like doesn't really say everything, and you having like more body fat might just be the way that you're built. I mean, there might be some like science to it, but it's not like a this number means this. It's not like a code. It's just how your body holds fat when you're doing certain things, eating certain things, doing a certain amount of exercise. I don't know. It's just body expectations are definitely very anti-black, because I think people saw that black bodies tend to have like a little more weight to them. I guess not all the time, but they can. So they made it not the standard.
When it was on black skin, it was an issue, but when it was on Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians, it was $1 billion business. Yep.
Well, either that or they're like, it always circles back to an issue for black people, because a lot of people say that the Kardashians just did that to get black men. No matter what, it always ends up becoming racist. I've heard a lot of people be like, yeah, they're just trying to get black men with their butts. And I'm just like, okay, buddy, that is definitely fucked up to say.
Together.
Yeah, who doesn't like big butts? Like, you're trying to say that they're trying to attract black men with big butts, but all you're really saying is that black men have good taste. So, sit on that one. Black men like big butts. Okay, based. Good for them. Butts are really cool. Awesome, even.
I appreciate
We're done.
taking the time. I know this is...
That Aussie is weird as hell.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of these people. Okay, that was like... Oh my god, I was watching that for a very long time. But I have a few new besties. Icons. Love Mindy. Love Eli. What was her name? The girl in the green. Omaris, I liked her a lot too. Oh yeah, the New Jersey girl. She's from the tri-state area. She's one of me. And then what was the other girl's name? Yelda. I like her too. Oh, she's from New York. Ayo. Me, Omaris, and Yelda gotta get together and we can do the full tri-state area. We could be a tri-state area crew. So down. Permission to say something random? I guess. Sorry guys, I'm about to say something really random. I'm just so random and weird. I'm so sorry. I'm so random.
Do not diddle kids, it's no good diddling kids.
I'm eating chicken nuggets.
Kids, it's no good
they taste so good in my mouth.